make sure. Alright, I think we are right. Make sure that I got chat going. Alright. Alright. Hey there everybody, I am the AlphonZeus. Welcome back to another Premium Market Watch live. This is March 31st, 2021. So guys, this is going to be the last Market Watch that I do live for the time being, but just in case you guys like having these streams up for Team Gradelock, instead of me live streaming on Wednesdays, I'll actually move my live streams to Sunday around 2:30 p.m. where I'm going to be streaming for just like an hour or two, hour and a half, hopefully 2 hours ideally, as I dive into the wonderful world of Cardfight Online playtesting, whether it's through remote fights or tabletop simulator or even Cardfight area. So any of those avenues, I'm going to be doing live streams on Sundays, and we're going to build decks, we're going to play test, and we're going to incorporate in some live matches for you guys all through the wonders of the virtual internet. So that's pretty much where the streams are going to be going, but don't worry, as Mama John and Henry have said, we will try to put up a video every day for you, and some of those videos will be live streams, so you get to kind of see and interact with us live. Now, with that being said, let's get into the Market Watch. So, the first thing that we see here is the beginning. The beginning of what? Well, we got ourselves some relevant cards from the usual general search. Now, of course, we know that Clan Selection Volume 2 has just released, and people are still feeling the effects from Bang Dreams, given as we see some of the relevant cards with the imaginary gifts, the double-sided markers in particular. You see Protect 1, Protect 2, and Axel 1, Axel 2. Some of these prices are interesting because the double-sided Axel gift marker is going for $2. If you happen to pick up a whole lot of imaginary gifts, you can be a nice market maker on the TCG player or any other marketplace when you're listing these prices. Mostly because since now that we're not going to get an Axel 3 or something like that, now that Overdress is going to be incoming in the next month in May, this is going to be good pickups if people are going to be playing either V Premium or just Premium, because I believe that gifts are always going to be a part of the format, just as Strides and G Guardians were. Gifts are going to be part of it, given that we have gift grade 3s that have either the same or substantially similar names as some of the units from the OG era. So that would be one of the first things I would keep an eye out for. For the others, we see that we got, Evil God Bishop Castile. May be cheap now, but give it a couple months after it fades away, and if Dark States does not get any new units that seem like they would be more of a blast than him, it can be a good low-term investment for the long run, especially that we got 28 listings up there. Now, looking at some of the other Clan Selection cards and cards that have been out since last month, we also see Chaos Breaker Dragon. He's staying strong. With the Chaos Archetype, people are trying to find a way to abuse him. I know Henry hasn't had much success in his personal Chaos Breaker deck, but if you know any Chaos Breaker players that have tuned them up for Premium, feel free to comment that down below. And as we move on into some of the next pages that we got here, let's see. I think some of the other ones that seemed relevant at the time, we see that at least with Damien the Ghosty, one of the interesting ghosties that have been premiered alongside with Beatrice. Why it's relevant? Well, I think TCG player has relevance arguments for how cards will do in Standard or Premium. And it looks like with the activity that's showing up, I guess with relevance it shows that, if you're looking for the cards from the latest set, here you go. And I can see why. It's definitely a good indicator of how Standard is looking like before we move on into the glorious format of Overdress Standard. So, you have all that. I know that for some other cards, let's check some darker regular cards, actually. Because I am interested in knowing what in particular people are spending their monies on in this clan, which is pretty much a top tier meta deck. So we see, of course, some cards that we see from standard that are lying around here. Let's just check the market high to low to see what's going on. See if we see anything different. Looks like some of the strides that have been incorporated into it has still been doing well, such as one steeped in Sin Shaharlet and one who hunts souls Balam. At least their SP versions. Given that Shaharlet has become a reliable premium deck, even with Evil God Bishop Gasteel taking primary reign over it, because gifts are nice, but given that Duck Regulus is a Protect clan, the use of having extra PGs in hand isn't good unless you just use them for discard fodder, really. And that's when you just use your other Sentinel Perfect Guards. In some of the collector's market, we see that Demon World Marquis Amon, the triple rare from the Demonic Lord Invasion, fetching $20, which is a very interesting price given that he's the base rarity. But now that we are approaching a new overdressed format, technically cards like Amon are coming back from the old ages, where they only really get higher prices given the amount of support that they got. Now that we're in the overdressed format and all these units are brand new, they might be renditions or technically spiritual successors that we had from the last era of Vanguard. Now that we have these new units, we have to see, like, do we get to make a standard plus deck for premium where all we gotta do is add G Zone and G Guardians, G units and G Guardians to make it work. And another card I also want to point out, looks like Monochrome looked like it dropped a few dollars, because I'm surprised that people even bought it for like a $10, $11, $12 at all, given that we have these 12 different sellers that are selling off their Monochrome cats. Some that are going for $20, but others you have like your $8, $10 cards still fetching for a high price. If you don't care about the condition, you always want to watch out, because since they're not rated and they don't have a lot of sales on them, it's always good to approach it with a grain of salt. But given that so far it has 100% out of all 59 sales so far, you can give them the benefit of the doubt, and a lightly played is better than not having the card at all. So don't worry too much about condition, especially if you're looking to use them in premium, because that is a mindset you want to get out of if you just want to play the format. You want them in good condition, yeah, because you would protect your cards with your sleeves, and that's the primary way of making sure they don't become moderately played, lightly played, heavy played, etc. Now the next card I want to bring up, let's see, Evil God Pontiff Gasteel Daimonis, as well as Abominable One Gilderai. Now of course the Gilderai, the SP $20, that's a given. He's one of the deadliest strides from this G era to last a while, especially with having a 10k and no Sentinel swing. Your SPs are looking pretty nice, especially after people have bought him as low as $5. People are realizing that, alright, we should put Gilderai back up again. Now that we have grade 1s going to come back as perfect guards as well, so you have Sentinels, that's going to be your traditional grade 1 as it was in the OG days. You just have to watch out, because with that announcement involved, people do still have the choice to go to their draw trigger Sentinels because they want to fill out their grade 1 slot with something else different. So Evil God Pontiff Bastille. Hey Quinn, how are you, man? Yeah, we doing. Hope you're doing well, man. Just doing the last live market watch before Henry returns and takes over for the next foreseeable future. But don't you worry, I'm going to be putting up live streams every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. only for maybe 1 to 2 hours as I play test some Cardfight Vanguard. And then from there, I'm going to, gotta do some attorney work, because that's part of my life now. And I have to set aside time every single day to check in on that. Now, given that we have some listings that go as high as $13, $14, but some that's as low as $9, at least both of the sellers on here seem to have made enough sales that they can really do well with it. But look at Gasteel Daimonis' skill. You have a very deadly card that you can just buff up your front row by 3k times the number amount of cards that gets put into it, at a minimum of 6k because of his own axe skill. And then with every other card that can just pump up the board like that, you got yourself a really, really mean board. So don't sleep on Gasteel, especially if you're looking to build a premium deck on him. But that's enough about dark irregulars. At least I showed you some of the others on the collector's market, like, from Amon Reverse, and given that regular Amon, even just the non SP foiling, the triple rare foiling. $20 seems like a good, decent price you can fetch for cards that are not part of the main crew. In this case, it would be the Q4, Team Tri-3, like Amon, Dark Irregulars, Luquier, they're not part of the main squad. So at least if you're looking to collect them, there are smaller but more just as passionate niche audiences that can get into a card like Amon or Luquier or Bermuda Triangle, etc. So then that's it for your Dark Irregulars. The other one that I want to go off of would be the Jewel Knights. So now we get to see, do these new Jewel Knights that came out, are they legit to help boost up your Jewel Knight premium deck? Well, given what you see right now on the screen, Ashley Averse is alright as just your triple rare, 876, a little bit increase up from 712, not too bad. But then when you see some of the other cards involved, such as Gloria and Camille, Prismy, they're not usual cards that you would see in a Jewel Knight deck. But that does beg the question, where in the world is Swordme? Because I would like to know where in the world Swordme is, unless he is sold out. Which in that case, rip. Of course, you see the OG Jewel Knight Ashley, not as beloved, given that she has her V era stuff in there. Oh, sweet Jesus! All right, Swordme. All right, well, $100. That's pretty tough. People are trying to get rid of their Swordmes, and given that the utility of Swordme warrants her as a playset of, people are looking to get rid of her for very premium prices. Now, given that we have a newly launched seller that got it for $40, even for $40 is a little bit risky. But assuming that the Lost TG did their homework and they know how to sell cards, ship cards correctly, that could be a steal at this time, because given that Swordme is a promo, pretty much the primary way of distributing out the cards, it can be very hard to even find one copy. And even then, if you find one in real life, they will compare it to TCG listed prices, at least as a basis, as to try and evaluate what value or how much cash you have to pay out for a single Swordme. But the utility you get in response is just great, because she is your +1. She gets you not only her, but you get a column set up with someone boosting her. Which is why some of the other cards you see in Swordme, you have other cards from like Charging Jewel Knight Morvidus, and then you have Explode Jewel Knight Lyle, which is kind of alright, but given that these are pre-sale prices, you always want to make sure that you do your homework and check in on if they bode well for your premium deck. And given that there's listings out in the market, doesn't look like there's that many listings now because it's still technically pre-sale. Just be careful with it, because it's always better to playtest online or with proxies than to go and get the actual card and realize you just wasted $20 on cardboard that you probably will get at best 50 to 75% of your value back if you decide to trade it off. And kind of what Henry said before, if you're looking for the long game, after this set stopped printing, this looks like a decent set to kind of have on the side as an investment, not as one of your main investments involved. Set 1 for a clan selection has arguably the better card pool and the units overall. Not to mean to diss on Ashley or some of the other cards in Clan Selection Volume 2, but Clan Selection Volume 1 not only has Chaos, which is a big name in Cardfight Vanguard, but then you also have other cards that are taking up the spotlight, not just him, and his SP price is still going off the charts for that. So the next thing I want to go over would just be pretty much to ask, yeah, you need to counter Jewel Knight. Is it really not using the 10k triggers? Yeah, so regarding with the triggers in particular, you want to make sure that the Jewel Knights are as much as Jewel Knights as possible. And Michael, I can see why with the 10k triggers, it's tough, especially when you have to evaluate like how much is it to pass. And it's a lot of mind games in particular, because you can tell your opponent like, yeah, this is like 2 to pass, but in today's time, you would tell them 2 to pass as to, oh, 2 new triggers to pass. Not like 3 old triggers or maybe 1 and 1. So the key thing is you want to watch out for cards that demand that special counterblast. Which is why if you have all the other cards in your deck as Jewel Knight, you just gotta worry about having 16 at max non-trigger, non-cards that you can special counterblast with. People can look at Sword Me as sort of that double-edged sword, and it's smart on Bushiroad's part to not print any Jewel Knight triggers, at least from what I see in the pre-sales, because that's a can of worms you don't want to open up. It already happened before with some cards, but in Jewel Knights in particular, Sword Me's value has to be checked against what type of cost that is. It is a broken cost, though, being able to just get a +1 for 1 counterblast. Sets up combos. Like, I remember when that Sanctuary Guard Dragon Grade 1 Rush deck came into play. Ran 4 Sword Me's. Why? Ran all your Jewel Knight triggers, ran as many Jewel Knights as you could, gives you the best chance to a special Soul Blast, and you just got a special Counter Blast, so you just gotta make sure your resources are used correctly. So, besides Jewel Knights, I think another thing I want to look up would be prisms. So let's go to Advanced Search. I want to go to Prism. Now, given I'm trying to understand the Prism market right now, I want to make sure I get this right. Okay, because of course with Prism you have the hearts, and the hearts are just tough to do so. We haven't looked at Nightmare Doll or Magia cards, but I'll be more than happy to take a look at them after I use the Prism stuff. But for now, let's see. Oh, is it all products? Wait. Oof. Wait, is it Prism? Okay, so Prisms is still there. So, I like it also caught in some of the Prism birds from Tachikaze in there as well. Text. Alright, well, given that TCG play doesn't reflect the heart in Prism, we have to deal with what we got here. Now, given what came out in Clan Selection Volume 2 for Queer, Rosa, and Vert, all very nice upgrades. But how does this affect the market, really? Given that our SP is only $15, maybe not as much, because you see, with Nectaria, she's fetching a decent price of $5, but of course, that's the pre-sale price. You know, you could probably see her bumping up a bit, since that she is a grade 4 that has a gift ability to it. That is something to keep in mind. But looking at some of the other Bermuda Triangle cards, let me just make sure that I go to Magellantica. So I filter out all the Tachikaze stuff. And besides relevance, let's go to high to low, see what we're looking at here. Alright, well, of course we're going to include in some of the SPs. I feel bad that Labrador just kind of shot down like a brick just because of what was happening. But given that some of the other premium S cards, such as the Wedding SP for Vert, is fetching around $200, that's pretty accurate. Vert Wedding SP has always been around anywhere from $200 to $225. You see people trying to juice her for $250, but I haven't seen her sold for that much. So Wedding SPs, they're a whole can of worms in that regard. Now looking at some of the other cards, such as Prism Promise Celtic, very reliable card. When bounce back from here goes, Soul Blast one. Give a Bermuda Triangle units 4K. Totally fine. You can combo it off with all the prisms that you got. Even with the OG original version of Vert, fetching around $9 to $10. Still maintaining a good price, because given that we have at least 2 different other high rarity versions of Vert in the SP and the Wedding SP, we have ourselves a good premium card to pick up if you're building mostly prisms. And given how we see other stuff in Prism Duos, see even the first Nectaria that was printed, singular prisms wouldn't really hit that hard with the release of Clan Selection Volume 2. You can pick up a lot of these cards for just commons, really. I feel bad. Even the Break Ride Prism Vert should get some love, but since the new gifted Prism Image Vert succeeds itself in just the skill and having a gift, it does have the upper edge, which kind of justifies why the price is so low right now. Now, given that we got here, yeah, people thought the Prism Strike would jump higher, but given their practice, and we're still in the pre-sale phase. Clan Selection Volume 2 still has to come out on Friday, so we're going to see how they go into the next part of the format, especially given that technically this is the last set before Overdress comes out, I think, because you got the starter decks, you got set 1, and then there's another card. But with April, it's kind of like a break month, so people that are willing to just have the last month of standard as we know it, people are willing to invest into having a good old-fashioned round of standard games for V format. Now, I want to take up your interest in the Nightmare Dolls. Oops. I want to take up your interest in Nightmare Dolls. So let's check. Let's go back. So instead of searching up Prisms, let's search up Nightmare Doll. Let's see how they're doing right now. Alright, for Nightmare Dolls and Cardfight Vanguard, let's see here. We have some of the Revival Collection Alice's, as well as Moonlit Dragonfang. We see that for collector's value, we still have listings going for anywhere from $8 to $23. Revival Collection, of course, lets you reprint the Alice, but then with your secret rare, Alice and Moonlit Dragonfang, fetching for a nice price. Given that we have some Nightmare Dolls and Abigail and Chelsea, they're pretty low compared to some of the other ones, and including Marissa as well. But Nightmare Doll Alice still the big heyday swinger for everyone that wants to build a Nightmare Doll deck, because you're going to need Nightmare Doll Alice, but then you're also going to need some Nightmare Doll Catherines and other Nightmare Doll support because of the Hell combo that they can unleash on your opponent. Looking at some of these other prices, though, looks like they're not as impressive. I know that Nightmare Doll Alice's recent reprints may have an impact on her V format cards, so if you have some Alice's, you can hold on to them until the format's over. It seems like with the way that her skill is worded both in V format and the OG format, you have some choices to which one you want to run. Really depends on if you want the gift or if you're willing to sacrifice the gift for having an interesting skill. And I just say interesting because I'm still trying to understand the Hell combo that Nightmare Dolls do. I played Pale Moon only with Lukier, so I don't have much content to say about Nightmare Dolls, other than they're a waifu deck, and they do have some push and pull. Now, given we have Nightmare Doll Carol, wow, having the soul listing at 85 compared to the 49 cent for the regular double rare, you always want to help bias out, because when you're kind of comparing the original listing to its SP listing, like I said before, you want to make sure it's doubled at least. If it's any more than that, then you want to be careful of not paying too much for a single card, especially if you're trying to foil out a deck. You can always try and cut in deals with people that you're trading with or that you're buying cards off in bulk, because they can cut you a deal because you're buying so much from them. Now, given that we have Nightmare Dolls going into the next page, see, nothing really outstanding here either. You see some of the strides, Nightmare Doll of the Abyss Eleanor, 16 listings, which is pretty medium, but then only fetching for 41 cents. And then you have some of the pre-sales, such as the SP Nightmare Doll Chelsea for 45, and even just the triple rare version of Carol going as low as 69 cents. It may be nice, but are they going to be really useful in premium? Well, as long as you have the Nightmare Doll name, you can make a lot of their strides pop off. So let's see here. I think, was it Elna that had it? Yeah, you need like a work reward from the G-Zone, put his face up, and then you just gotta look for the work rewards to make sure that it's like put right on the heart or soul. Let's check some of the other listings. I know there's the other Nightmare Doll stride. Sorry, I accidentally misclicked there. Alright, let's see here. I don't think I see a grade 4 around here. That's what I thought. Oh, Beatrix. There we go. So Nightmare Doll of the Abyss Beatrix. So 3 rear guards put into the soul at the end of the battle. That this unit attack the vanguard. If you have a heart with Nightmare Doll in its call name, you may pay the cost. If you do, put this unit in your G-Zone face up. Choose up to 2 from your soul. Call them the separate rear guards. Really good for setting up multi-attack combos. Given that she's $20 for her printing in Fighters Collection 2015, she is going to be a rare stride to get, and given there's only 1 copy left on the market, if you're going to get that deck done, you might as well get 1 copy of her at least, because on the bright side, you don't have to have 2 copies of her to activate her skill, and not a playset if you want to activate it twice. Given that it's premium format, if you make it to the second stride, you either need to kill them or you are definitely dead next turn. So watch out for more prices, especially if people try and market make with this price later on. So now let's get into some of the Magia cards. So I think what I can do is go back in the card file and get the advanced search button ready. I think for description I can put in Magia. See, for Pale Moon, let's check what we got here. Of course, we have some of the Rummy Rare Labyrinth. Harry's going for 300. Our Rummy Rare Labyrinth for that Harry is $60, and then you have Max Magician Harry for 15. So, given that this is what we're starting off with, Harry is always a key part of the deck, given his stride break abilities and the access to his special strides. Now, how has Magia held up after all the other releases? Well, at least when we take a look at it, we go look at Harry himself with Max Magician, Masked Phantom. It looks kind of interesting. At least I'm looking at the SPs and seeing what they all look like. Because when you build a Magia deck, always put in Magia in the description name, not the product name, because Magia is not really listed on the name of a card. It's just the ability and skill. So just as a reminder tip, especially when you're trying to look for just Magia cards. Now, given we see stuff like Lovely Companion, I see that there's only 8 listings on here for $9, which is almost double the current market price. See that, alright, GB2, when you retire from Garden Circle, if you have Harry Vanguard, then you can choose a grade 2, call it to rear guard, and at the end of the turn, put it into the soul. So, I think if you need that emergency intercept, or at least more value, this is something that you can keep in mind for Lovely Companion. Given that it's 9, gets as high as 20. Well, if you have her, it'll be up to your discretion if you want to list her or not. Because if you're still interested in making the deck, she is just such a good, perfect guard for enabling combos on your opponent's turn in a way. Because since there's not as much interaction until G Guardians came out, Pale Moon will just take whatever bite it gets at the apple when it comes to their clan, and especially their archetype for Magia. Now, looking at some of the other cards, looks like none of them are really outstanding in a way. Just same old, same old. Got your quarters and pennies and nickels, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Now, let's see if there's any other cards that I am interested in. Even at Premium, you don't go into the strides. You stick with Dark Lord, Yvette, and Harry at rare times. Besor Lenore sadly is never played as she doesn't extend enough. All right, thank you for the insight, Emerald Samurai. That's really knowledgeable of you. I only know one person out of the entire play group that mains Nightmare Dolls, and she is the wife of one of the friends in the Team Gradelock fan band. So she's not a. I see her at tournaments. I probably don't see her at regionals often, but I think every time I was at a regional, I would see her there. So I know she does practice. I guess like with the playtesting sessions, I don't get to playtest her against her that often outside of local tournaments and regionals. So I have yet to meet more Nightmare Doll main players besides her that can give me some insight onto the combos. But yeah, in Premium, if you hit second stride, you die. And that's supposed to be the thing, because if you don't die, you're gonna die. So that with the way Premium is going, it's always like if you kill them by the second stride, then you're good. If you don't kill them by the second stride, they're just gonna go off, and everything's just gonna go straight to hell. It's not gonna be a good time to enjoy. Given that, now we have a look at Magia, we gotta look at the Workroids, we gotta look at the Jewel Knights, and we gotta look at some of the cards from that potentially impacted upon Clan Selection Volume 2's release. I think as for some other cards in Premium that I thought were interesting to take a look at, I can look at some of the promos usually are just standard. I think we can look at some sets, really. I know there's some sets that Henry likes to talk about as to like what's actually been going on. So let's check. I know that there was one in Asha, so let me check. Oh no, that's the V-Trial deck. Let me see here. Flammate of Purity. I know there's a card here in particular. They have some grade 2 on special boosters that have it. Alright, so it looks like what I thought what was the case. You have Maiden and Daybreak, and then you have the Maiden and Glorious. I don't know too much about Maidens. I bought the deck a few times. I was able to get the SP stamp twice, so I had to play the deck in some regard. But given that we have the listings for Maidens that are just the stand trigger and the foil for the grade 2 Maiden and Glorious, they're hitting above $1. It's something you want to keep tabs on. I would say keep tabs on, because like this is an example for any trial deck that you wish to pick up in G format. Given that now it's pushing as high as $19, $20, sealed is alright, because there's always a chance you can get that SP, which unfortunately only gives you an extra $1.50. But given that these cards are going to be supported by Storchea soon, you can see if there's going to be a strategy around Maidens. So the research may seem boring at first, but especially as time goes along and you see these cards slowly start to jump in price, you can start to see a pattern. It's nothing confirmed nor automated, but it is a card that you should keep tabs on and see how well it performs as more sets come out for Overdress. Now, let me see, is there any other ones that... I think we want to go back to some of the old school sets. I think I'll end it with some of the old school sets in particular. Now, with Blue Storm Armada boxers, you have some booster boxes that have gone for mad money. Mostly because they were the OG Set 1, OG Set 2, which I don't think unless it hits OG Set 3 that you're going to find some quality money cards in there. I'm surprised that you can even find cards that are over $1 here that are multiples of these. So, with Galactic Beast Zeal, you have yourself a little bit of a beloved card among a niche audience. So, given the low amount of listings for Galactic Beast Zeal, even Destruction Dragon Dark Rex for Tachikazes, they have strong supporters. And when you have strong supporters, you have people that are willing to shell out a premium because it's their favorite card, or because it's their favorite unit. So when you have cards like those, if someone is willing to pay the price and is more of a fan than you of that card, then sell it. And you can probably give them a friend discount if you know them, or if not, you can just sell them for full value. It's fine, because that's what they want. It's a premium. So, even with some of the market launches for some of the others, like the Arboros Dragon SPs. SPs in the OG set boxes are super rare, and you can find some that would be at least $5 or so, given the age of the card. Because remember, Vanguard is coming up on its 10-year anniversary this December, at least in the English format. So, technically, we're going to come up to all the OG booster boxes set. It's like reaching 10 years old, which makes me feel kind of old, because I've been playing this game for close to 9-10 years. I got into Vanguard around the spring of 2012, so it's definitely been there. Hey Henry, thanks man, I appreciate it. I hope I'm doing a good job. Steady brings me back. Yeah, Musketeers. Oh yeah, everyone was going for Arboros. They were so popular just because of the amount of use the card with the same name, and it turned out to be a hallmark strategy to predict clans, archetypes, and abilities, where you get to have a chance to see, what is going on here? Well, people use the same name, and you get to use that in Maidens, which, shout-outs to Asha. But then it also gives shouts to other cards, like for Nubatama or Murakumo, where you see cards that is treated as the same name as X or Y. So it's always nice going down memory lane to seeing how these cards are all doing. Now, what I like here is that when you see the support for particular units, you always take a look at some of the cards that directly support the unit. In this case, it looks like it would be the Ride Chain. So in this case, you have Devour Planet Zeal. 2 listings, one that has 16 cards, so smart cards, you're good with that for $4, and then you have another one that's selling this for almost $5. You have cards that, if you are interested in playing the Zeal Ride Chain, which I find very intriguing, because technically, with Devour Planet Zeal, let me just go back here, that when a card Galactic Beast Zeal, which is the same card as the Zeal that's in the clan selection, you can also minus 3k your opponent's Vanguard. Because, remember guys, a lot of the cards that carry over from OG format to V format, they retain the same name most of the time. There are some exceptions, which my memory kind of forgets me as to what that is like. But I need to check in particular which cards have a difference. I remember Dungaree, Cecilia, they all remain somewhat the same. Although some of the skills, like Cecilia, has completely transformed in particular from calling out copies of herself to supporting tokens. But looking at set 8 in particular, I always like to go back to the set because I remember pulling the SP Ultimate Dimensional Robo Great Dayusha, probably one of my favorite cards of all time, given that it gets the built-in crit. Built-in crits is so good. Let's see. I don't think I see any others. I feel like all these other cards that are coming up as the higher price listing, they're just they're just more for collector's value, and the listings that are up there, they're kind of just there just to be there. Sometimes you're going to need those grade 3 searchers or so, but given what we're going to see in Overdress, maybe people will see that as the new standard. But in actuality, I think people will still use their V starters because not only you get to draw a card, but you also get a shield ticket if you go first, which almost replaces most premium starters unless they have broken skills like the Assassin, Enigmatic Assassin, as it's called in Dark Regulars, because that 15k plus power to it is just so good. And I think we'll just end it with one more. So let's go back to the advanced search. Let's see what other set. Is there any particular OG set you guys want to see? I know that we did set 8 for boost. We did set 8. I'm so sorry. I'm kind of coming off a bit tired right now. Let me see. We have Boost Armada, which was the last set that we did. Is there any set you guys want to see before I sign off? Because any OG set or any set in particular in premium, because we can always dive in and just see if there's anybody that wishes to buy some cards last minute, because I am always down for getting input from the audience as to what you want to keep an eye out for, because I do appreciate adding in the content for Nightmare Dolls and for Magia. That was always good. If I don't get any responses back, I'm not sure if I'm lagging. Yellow Bolt? Alright, Henry. Let's check in on our good friend Yellow Bolt here. So this time, I think it's gonna bring up both premium and standard. So let's check here. So wow, sweet lord. Alright, given that Yellow Bolt OG is going for $17 right now, I'm sure if you want to try and market make it, it's fine. You're going to alter the market price a bit, given that people are willing to pay out $7 at least for the guy. But then given that we have the upgraded Yellow Bolt in V format, where you have that extra utility of when it attacks a grade 2 or greater, it will hit. Even on the 11k power grade 2 units that have restraint on them, if people still run that, it will still hit them regardless. And it can even hit the basic 13k Vanguards for grade 3, especially up to Force clans. So this has a really good skill, both his V standard form and his premium form. And given what people like to do, I think just being able to rest and then soul charge one, it's a good skill. You don't have to pay much from that. His V standard though, I don't know what the ratios are when people like to run the guy. He seems like to be a very interesting one. BTO6, I mean BTO7. Oh. Yeah, BTO7, yeah, okay. So I was just double checking. I was like thinking, like, I'm sure it was BTO7. Because, like, I'm not sure how many people run X amount of copies of Yellow Bolt. I thought that this guy would be kind of like a 2 of and anything, because I thought the V format one just was so high above. It's just that because it has something you can do both on Vanguard and Rearguard, although with Rearguard you have to swing with them first, but on Vanguard you can still, like, on ride, you can just soul charge 2 and then draw a card if you soul charge the trigger, which, you know, it's good. It helps accelerate through your deck, and it does a good job at just accelerating your soul count. Oh, people just want to damage the night with old Yellow Bolt. Ah! You don't want to give him the damage. I see. That's a good one. Because, yeah, when you ride your grade 1, you get your shield ticket if you run a new starter. and then you just pass turn. But you don't swing with them because you deny them. You deny yourself a drive check, but you also deny them a counter blast, which it can work unless they ride the Boba. The Boba is always going to be the equalizer to make sure that, like, I will get that damage and I will start counter blasting for stuff, and take it from there. But I do appreciate the comment. Thank you for providing that context as to Yellbolt's skill. Now, given that we have a look at the Rampage of the Beast King booster box, we have $65 here, but we have a couple of cards here that have gone for pretty good amounts of money. Now, I know that the new Listener of True Dendrian is nice. The OG one has not only collector's value, but I'm not sure how many people still run the OG. It's still a decent card that you can buy. And then you have other cards that, outside of the SPs, of course, Lucia is going to be a money card, but then Purple Trapezist. It's always been a great card because it does do the infinite combo shenanigans. And the fact that when you get to view all versions of Purple Trapezist, you have the promo that's going for double the amount, which you can see a brighter version of it, kind of like more pale in the spotlight. And I honestly forgot where in the world you can get this promo, but it was just a very good, it's just a very good card because it can't call out itself, but you have a card that can call itself out, and you just kind of do like the whole soul tag, and just Purple Trees, soul charge, Purple Trees, soul charge, and you manage to do a lot of funny numbers with it. And I guess that's how Purple Trapezist has just retained its value quite a bit. It had a very interesting beginning. I know when it got as down as like $4 or $5 or something like that, and it started hitting insane like $25, $30 prices because as the G format started, and even the OG format, not OG format, G format and V format started, Purple Trapezist has become a force. And I know people definitely want to keep on their promo Purple Trapezist, and I'm not sure where you get her, but she is a great collector's card and a great card to, tech into your Pale Moon deck, which makes it kind of like a nice take on. We did Royal Paladins and Pale Moon, along with maybe some of the impact of some of the cards in Clan Selection Volume 2 had on Premium, including the Prisms from Bermuda Triangle. And Henry says, tell them I missed them out. Yes, Henry misses you guys, so don't worry. Next week, Henry's going to be back in full force. And if you missed the beginning of what happened, I am... this is the last live stream I'm going to be doing, so I'm going to give the reins back over to Henry for April onwards. But the live streams that you will see will be moving on to something different. So Henry will miss you, and he will see you again next week. But for me, the live streams, I do like interacting with chat, and I like streaming myself on my personal Twitch channel. So I will move the live Twitch streams over to Sundays instead of Wednesdays. I was supposed to premiere on Sunday, except my Levi gaming PC actually gave me a bit of a scare because the monitor wasn't detecting my graphics card anymore, and I had to troubleshoot the crap out of it because I did not want to see $2,000 go to waste. So you have that there. I built it, and if you're interested in seeing it, just feel free to comment down below, and I'll be more than happy to send you over to the video where I built my computer. But the goal of Sunday stream, since I'm not going to be doing premium market watches, it's going to get me back into the swing of Vanguard playtesting, because it's been a while since I've playtested Vanguard. I played Vanguard before on stream and for videos, but I haven't gotten the chance to really playtest a lot of the new cards, especially for overdress format that's going to be coming out going to be next month in May. Not April, but the month after in May. And I will be more than willing to just sit down and playtest, because I know that with the attorney job and having to contend with me working either 10 to 12 hour days, just making sure I hit my billable hours, and content with working on Saturdays, I want to make sure that I can have some time to myself on Sunday before I hopefully can bill for only 1 to 2 hours on Sunday. That will be my key thing. But don't worry, guys. If you missed any part of the stream archive, it will be in the live category of our video content, so you can feel free to check that out. I think I only have a few weeks of streams that are up, but there is some other stream content you can check out. But I will be more than happy to also stream again on Sunday and give you a later rendition of Unlocks the Week. So that is it for me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this stream. It's been a pleasure doing this market watch for you the past few Wednesdays, and I hope that you all doing well. Take care, guys. I am the AlphonZeus Team Gradelock. Thank you again for stopping by the Premium Market Watch. I'll catch you later, guys. See you on Sunday when I stream again at around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or Eastern Standard Time if we're not in Eastern Daylight Time. Alright, guys. I'll catch you later. Cheers, guys. Yay. Woo. Whoa. Woo. Yeah. Woo.